Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, we will talk about a research paper and its different components with the help of an illustration. So what is a research paper? A research paper is an academic writing about any topic based on research and analysis. So here is an example of how a research paper looks like. So I'm going to go over each and every component of a research paper with the help of this example. So if you see, this is the topic and obviously it is written on the very top of the paper. This is where the name of the authors and affiliations are written, and more details about the authors are also written in the footnote, which is typically on the first page. Depending on the publication, it is placed in different formats. Now the summary of a paper is written towards the very beginning, which is called as abstract. An abstract is typically a couple of lines in the beginning, which is the introduction. Then we have the objective of the paper. Then is the method or scope of the paper. Then is the result of the paper, including the conclusions and recommendations for future research. At the very bottom, we have the keywords. So what are the keywords is basically some of the highlights or the important words which have been used in writing the paper. Now coming to the first section of the paper, it is introduction and background. Sometimes it is also called as just introduction, or sometimes it's also called as background. So this shows the introduction and little bit of literature review as what this paper is all about, and the different people or researchers or authors in the past who have done similar kind of work, and what are their viewpoints or opinions or results of their research. Then you start talking categorically about the topic and subtopic. So you could divide the section into subsection like this way. Like here, the topic is related to, for example, open cut pipeline and also cured in place pipe. So it is important for the reader to know in the very beginning that what are these methods. So that's why we have talked about these. Now it is very important that we embed the previous works also under these subtopics, so that we mention about the previous authors who have done such works, right? Then we talk about the method or scope of the paper. Like here we have analysis method used, where we talk about all the methodology, the scope, the material used or software used or tool used. So we talk about all that. Again, since this is a research paper, it is very important that we give prior reference of the authors or works which have been done in the similar scope or the area before. Then it is very important that we tell the need or the requirement or the motivation for doing the research. So we have a section which is called as research need, which means that, well, several works were done in the past, but this is why this particular work is being done, because of maybe in the past some of the things were done and some were not. So they basically recommended this particular job or work or research to be done, which is why it is being done. Then we are slowly getting towards the result and analysis part of the research or the paper. And then it is very good idea to tabulate those results or researches or the analysis used. So this is all about results and analysis, and depending on the type of research, type of analysis, type of subject, you would have this section accordingly. Now, it is important that we list all the assumptions or viewpoints or the scope which are listed in the paper or the research. So this section might or might not be there in other researches, but if it is a kind of research wherein there are certain assumptions or basically, and then we have the results and analysis which we list, which could be in the form of graphs or pictures or figures or tables. Then comes the most important part, is the discussion of the results. As you can see here, that why these results are important and what is the significance of the results which have been achieved in this research. Again, these could be graphically represented or pictorially represented or maybe tabulated. And finally, we have conclusions, as what could be concluded out of the research. Since this is a scientific paper, technical paper, it is very important that a paper contributes to the body of knowledge. So it is worth mentioning as what are the contributions of the paper or this research to the body of knowledge. Finally, since it cannot be the end of the world, so it is a good idea to recommend some of the things or remaining things for the future research or researchers to be to kind of continue for their researches, or some of the starting points for future research. So it's a good idea to mention some of the points where future researchers can go back and check and can start their work from. Nowadays, it is important to mention the data availability statements as where the data is coming from and where is the complete data available if more researchers are interested in similar type of work. So we put the title or the link of the data available. If there is no data models or code generated in a study, then we can simply mention that there is no data model or code generated. And acknowledgements is basically a section wherein the authors acknowledge the support. It could be laboratory support or financial support or some sort of support, maybe data availability and so forth, or some industry support. um, so it is very important to acknowledge people and their contribution. And then we could have a section called as notations or abbreviations and acronyms, wherein we list all the short forms, abbreviations, equations, and their meaning. Then finally we have a section which is called as references, where we list all the references which have been used for writing the paper. So I hope it makes sense as what are the different components of a paper. Now in the upcoming videos, I'm going to talk more about writing the paper effectively and more quickly by giving more and more examples. So in the next couple of videos, I'm going to show how to write a research paper more effectively and quickly. So please like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel for more updates.